And we're back with another reaction video to YouTuber news. Guys, something amazing happened 10 days ago, and I wasn't aware until 2 days ago. Armon and Wiley, the discussion. It was amazing. I've been watching it for the last 48 hours. It has answered every last question that I had about their relationship, their past and history. Guys, number one, can we just acknowledge the fact that Armon actually knows Wiley? Because for a very long time, Armon had been saying that I don't know you, I don't know you, I don't know you. And that was kind of frustrating because I have like very strong intuition as a Native American. So I knew in my spirit the way that Wiley had been reacting to Armon and the things that he was saying and not saying, that their relationship had, there was a relationship there. There was something there. There was history. Armon confirmed so many things, and with no further ado, let's get right to it. We're going to take this piece by piece, blow by blow, because there's many components. It's a 5-hour long live. Armon ditched the live for about 30 minutes just to listen silently for Wiley's reaction, all the while pretending that he wasn't on the line at all. It was just so many different tactics used, so much truth revealed. Let's get to it. Shout out to the Wiley Show. Wiley, please, if you're thinking of striking the channel due to the footage that I'll be using in order to complete this reaction video, I would highly encourage you not to do so, and think about the other options, such as sharing the ad revenue. I mean, that's what everybody else does to me. And for the Armon Wiggins subscribers and followers, it is not that Armon cannot play the music. It will not be deleted. It is, in fact, that the ad revenue will have to be shared, and he doesn't want to do that. You can check out my other videos where I do play Nicki Minaj because I love Nicki Minaj. One of the reasons why I love Nicki Minaj is because I can play her music on the channel. There are some music groups that will not allow you to play that shit regardless. They don't want to share their ad revenue at all. So I appreciate the Nixter's Minaj. That's another reason why I love her. And that is something I just found out as a content creator. Shout out to being a content creator for only 2 years now. And this channel is not 2 years old yet. Not yet. We're still a new content creator. I learned very quickly, and I've been very fortunate to have the, I don't know, creative nature, strong drive and tenacity. Damn it, man. Shout out to Icon. Icon is the shit. I love hearing his voice. I love his input. I love Icon.
Can you come on camera? Let me see if this, because I'm probably gonna show up. Somebody got Armon Wiggins' picture, and they got a get in here.
So I can't make that bigger? Oh, God.
Right, like Armon, is that you?
Guys, make sure you remember to do shit like this in case they have a better quality than 720. My videos usually have the 1080 HD quality. You just have to always like change that wheel. So, okay. Shout out to Icon if you didn't hear what I was saying. Or in case I edited it out for easier viewing. Shout out to Icon. I totally love his voice. I totally love his input. Every time he's on, I just he is one that he has such a personality and a thing that like I miss him. Like I miss him when I don't hear him. And I love you, Icon. I think you're just so cool. You're just so cool, like in my mind, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Woody Williams, because for like, you know what I'm saying? Making that whole expressive, like slogan thing, like you're a friend in my head. You know what I'm saying? Icon, you're just like an icon in and out of my head, and you're like a friend in my head. Yeah. So I can't stand when, also here's another thing, right? Thank you. Shout out to my viewers and subscribers that give a shit about me and really understand and get me and get the words that are coming out of my mouth. And then they like, when they hear and see a sincere person, they recognize it and they understand that. I really, really appreciate that because I'm gonna let you know there's no one that, there's no dick riding here ever. There's no one I would ride, no one's dick I would ride in life or on YouTube to get anywhere in life or on YouTube. That's just not gonna happen. I'm trying to get to the kingdom of heaven, and I don't think it involves any such acts. All right, let's go. Let's go. So right here, our lovely icon has just left a line because, Wiley suspected that it was Armon calling, but Armon was just like not even being like straight up. Like he's not even like going to show his face. It's crazy.
It's different spooked and nervous. Because
It's giving spooked and nervous.
Now, a couple of months later, you took a picture and you made up with Denied. So tell us what made you come to that conclusion to make up with a man that wanted to physically harm you and your man?
Well,
So I'm not really concerned as to why he really done that. Why I'm here is because I'm very concerned about the relationship between the Wiley show and Armon. Because in the beginning, and if you can check out some of these old videos up the playlist up in there, please forgive me. I am a new content creator, and I was even newer then, obviously. But like, yeah, I was so in the very beginning. I was like, I don't want to say I chose a side because I'm not really a side chooser, but I really, really understood where Armon was coming from more so than Wiley because of the history I'd had with unfortunately being stalked. And so so I get when a person wants their personal space, and even moving forward, even before then, I was a person that if I don't want to deal with you, I don't have to deal with you. We don't have to conjugate. It doesn't even matter what we're doing. It doesn't have to happen. Like you can't force someone into your personal space. And so I was coming from an Armon Wiggins perspective where I don't want anybody like don't force yourself on me, period. Like in friendships, like in anything, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a loner with a boner, you know what I'm saying? So, but not like, I'm just saying loner with a boner. Like, obviously I don't even have a dick. So like, whatever, but obviously or not, obviously I don't have one. So, but like, yeah. And so, but I do cherish my peace of mind. And I was an only child for most. I get along with others, but I also play very well by myself. And I do understand that I came in this motherfucker alone. I'm gonna go out this motherfucker alone. So that's why who do I trust? Me. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of like what it is. You know what I'm saying? But even still, so back to Armon. So I get where he's coming from, where he doesn't specifically need to have a explanation to why as he doesn't want to let Wiley into his world. But to find out this, it just makes so much more sense. So I'm going to go ahead and skip a bit when he's just talking about, why he forgave Donat. It wasn't that deep, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. He put his hands on you. So that is kind of deep. I've not ever refriended any person that has put their hands on me or befriend. Like you guys weren't even friends. And we got to realize that Donat and, they're not childhood buddies. They're not children. These are grown men. This is not a story where you guys first met and you're like 14 and then you were beefing and then you hit each other and then, hey, we're cool. That is the only scenario where this would be normal. In any other, so in this scenario, Armon, and I say this with love and concern because I am a fan of the Armon Wiggins show and the show. It's concerning and it's disturbing, Armon. I am not subscribed to Donut. I'm not. I think he's a very intelligent person, and I don't have anything else that I'm willing to verbalize right now because I don't see that it's necessary, and that's just the way that is. But yes, the action that was taken is weird. You guys are grown men, and teach his own. But again, from the outside looking in, that is not a situation that in my heart, soul, mind, and intuition will pan out nicely. So that's that for that donut and things. And so they're there with that. So I don't want to, that's why I don't care about that. And so then the whole Jason Lee piece where you told Wiley not to do it, but when you didn't, it's pretty sad. And I was disappointed in you, Armon, because you had went on to say, all right, you got that. You got that. You got that. You got that. but you never apologized. You didn't just apologize and say, well, I'm sorry. And later on in the video, when what the gosh, the freaking this golden nugget egg diamond elephant sitting in the room finally reveals itself. Wiley even apologizes. I mean, he showed so much integrity. I don't know who really won that. And at the end of the day, I'll just wrap that up with the end. What I actually think the result of that is and what. So I want to get to the point where
ran into him.
Oh, and he ran into him. Look, check this part out. Let's just go with this, right? This is what I surmise that happened.
Who am I to sit up here and just be like, all right, bro, I'm just gonna keep this anger towards you when it never was supposed to be that in the first place. Now you're trying to say like he might do it in the future or whatever. I don't know. But what I'm saying is I feel like if the nigga is big enough to be like, bro, my bad, or can we, like I don't want to be on that type of time.
So, anyways, he was saying something about how he met him back at the bar. And I think what happened is, so the bar, you're drinking, it lowers your inhibitions, and you have to know that, Armon, your inhibitions are your intuition. Your intuition is a part of that. So when you drink, you're allowing, so what's happening is you're letting God out and you're letting the spirits in. And that's just the way it is. And if you're okay with that, then fine. But you need to understand that that's where your intuition really comes from. It comes from God. The more that you accept that and embrace that, the stronger it becomes. And the more you cherish it, and you will not allow anything to deviate your intuition, as is your survivor thermometer. But in any event, so I believe that they were at the bar. The inhibitions had been lowered. And from what I have seen, gay men on YouTube find Donut to be an attractive gay man. He seems to be like a dangly piece of bait in front of these gay men. And I believe he has even referred to himself as such in one of the videos I watched earlier on when I was first alerted to his presence on YouTube. So in any event, yeah. So I think he so happened to see him at the bar. So happened. I'm not so sure about that because he does have stalker tendencies. I mean, Wiley brings up very, very good points. Something you need to understand also, Armon, is that so some of the best people, so you hear things like I see you, you see me, we see each other, and you see things like a snake would recognize a snake, and things like that, pot calling the kettle black, things like that, right? So with Wiley has an insatiable infatuation with you. And so he can clearly see and spot out anybody else who be even maybe an inkling a bit of crazy about you. And what it is with Wiley, he does love and respect you. And now I know why. When we heard this long live, finally, this discussion that you all had, now we finally know why he actually loves you so much and what this is all really about. So it's not as crazy and infatuous and, just random as it was kind of spinned for us to believe that it was. There's a root to it. So that gives it a more grounded understanding. So what Wiley is seeing about this stranger is just cold-blooded. It's insanity. It is obsession, and it has way past crossed the line. And now, I think he feels like you're in a dangerous place as it pertains to this guy, Donut. And I think he's actually concerned.
You talked about Jason Lee, but Cardi B came on.
So now,
Whatever.
I want to get into the piece.
No, I've done, and I have admitted of mine, right? I have. And my hands, I'm not gonna get on here and say, "Oh, baby, my hands is clean." It's not. It's not clean. I've done my dirt. One thing I have not done, have taken it too far, posted people pictures.
So, okay, so let's be clear on this part. Wiley, you did take it really, really far one time when you called his local police department and you implemented Armon in that homicide. You did that on live. That can be found in one of your videos. You literally gave them his first and last name, and you all but said he should be. And as a matter of fact, I can't even say all but said. You literally said that he should be investigated, Wiley. And I thought that was crazy. And I literally had to stop watching you for a little while when you did that. And Wiley, that I go back and forth. Like, cause you see, as a content creator, I think we see, when people, we subscribe. And I know you see when I do. I know you don't. you don't subscribe to me at all. That's fine. But like, yeah, I know, you see that I was going through my things because, I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is weird and fucked up. You don't do shit like this. And I mean, you did that. And that was weird and fucked up. And then you're saying like you didn't take it too far. I think that calling the local authorities and implementing someone in a homicide is taking it extremely far because it's not about you meaning to, like, you're talking about hurting him physically. You don't have to. If you send him to prison, those men are going to devour him. That's insane, Wiley. So you have a very, so there's like a thin line there. And if I was Armon, I'd stay away from you too. I mean, I understand that. So then you go on to say that you didn't do anything that serious. I disagree.
I've done that. Me
Now,
the history. So there's nothing that I can do because you are just not willing to move forward. You have this grudge against me, and no matter what I do, you perceive it.
now,
never done it.
now we're going to start. Now we're going to start
fucking with your webinars.
They're gonna,
wasting tons of time
it's
troubleshooting with attendees. If so,
now we can start at the beginning of the explanation from Armon as to
Okay.
why
Get it.
he no longer
But not you and your
he no longer or ever wants to let Wiley into his world at all. And it's so sad that Wiley cannot accept that. And he literally cannot accept that. And we are going to just break this down. This is really, really bad. And hopefully this is going to be helpful to Wiley in his mental health progression.
you're hurt. I'm not hurt. We having a conversation. We having a conversation because again, the topic was brought to my attention. I said, well, why not have this dialogue? But I'm not hurt.
So at that point, Armon was just about to explain why he doesn't want to befriend him anymore. And he literally just disconnected the line or put mute. And this, I believe, was a strategic thing that he had done. Guys, I don't know if you want this light like this or not, if you want to see me or not. I'll just fucking do that. This, I believe, was a strategic tactic. Like, I believe this is strategic on Armon's part because he was like, I want to see what this motherfucker is going to say right now. What is he going to go and assume out of his mouth? And I'm going to go from there. Like, Armon kind of, you can't tell people what to be and how to be. That's just how they are, right? And then, you meet them, you know them, you love them for who they are, you don't. But he puts a lot of thought into his interactions with people. And I don't know. That's just so weird. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just weird to me because it's like, it seems to be like a lot of game playing a lot of the time. And none of it's just like, bam. Like I just turned this shit on and just, bam, I got to react to this. Bam, I want to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? And everything else, little after effects is legit done for copyright purposes and for the purposes of being able to criticize the content and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it's like the fucking editing shit that you need to do. But like, I did not rehearse what I'm going to say. I don't fucking know. I like I said, I've been watching it. It took me 2 days, number one, because I have a life and I have other shit to do. It's not like I legit just kept watching the fucking live 5 hours over and over again. That's impossible for a person like me. So no, again, I think the whole situation is very intriguing because I care about both of the content creators. And it is awesome in the very definition of the word awe. Or is that amazing? No, it's awesome. Like full of awe. Yeah, it has you in awe. So
take pictures, take videos, and pull up on people. I don't do that. All right.
Wait, hold on. I didn't hear nothing you said. Did you hear anything I said?
No.
So Armon has come back. And the way he said, did you hear anything I said? It didn't sound like to me that he accidentally got off the line. Like, again, it sounds very, very purposeful.
No, I did because it went
like a tactic.
We got to start over. Okay, so what did you, oh, damn. So what did you hear?
I think I didn't hear, I think the last part you said, I made up with the not, but I took the Jason Lee piece, but let's take when you close off of it, you said, let's take the Jason Lee out of it. So damn.
Oh, damn. I was like, damn, I'm like, is he really listening? Because I was talking, I was like, he would have been cutting me off by now, y'all. But okay, so listen. Okay, so yeah, so the Jason Lee part. Okay, so for you, so you can hear my thing with you. Okay, so my thing with you is let's take the Jason Lee part out. And
I think it might be too much of a
the problem is, like I said, I don't hate you either. I really don't. The thing is, I've gotten to a point to where, respectfully, my hands are tied and I just don't have any more energy because it's been years and years and years. And without Jake, let's say told you not to talk about the Jason Lee, I talked about it, whatever. But what if I would have never talked about Jason Lee? In your mind, because you're still not mentioning in that conversation, your whole thing was he called and all he do is talk about himself. And I was all about him. The idea is what I
And you got to really listen to that when he says years and years. And it just kind of made me sad because you have any kind of years of history with someone, it's always going to be hard to let that go, especially in Wiley's case, when they've known of each other. You were going to find out exactly how for such a long time. And then it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. And then when I find out the premises of why it didn't go that way and actually what happened, it's just very interesting. It's a little heartbreaking. It's really riveting and moving. It really is. And I think that, I would like to see both of these gentlemen go really, really far. But I don't think it would need to, it didn't have to go any farther than here, and it could literally be like a really good movie. You know what I mean? It's just really awesome. So look at Wiley looking crazy as shit right now. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just like he's listening to this. He's like he's really, really, really. Here's the problem that I get with Wiley, right? It's like he's listening to Armon, hearing what he has to say, but he's also kind of just waiting for him to do the wrong thing. He's waiting for him to say the wrong things, to say something that's going to prove that, hey, that Armon is a piece of shit. So it's kind of, so I already automatically get when Armon says like, I don't have any more energy for the situation.
realize with you is it doesn't matter what I say to you, how many times I apologize. If I flew you out here, if we hung out, in your mind, you're still gonna take that as I'm like you, I'm talking down at you, I'm trying to little bro you because you just feel that way about me, the history. So there's nothing that I can do because you are just not willing to move forward. You have this grudge against me, and no matter what I do, you perceive it as a way to try to undermine you. So I'm like, girl, I'm over it because nothing I do is good enough. I've listened to you talk, and anything I say, you take it as, oh, he's just trying to get in my head. Oh, he's trying.
And you know what? I can see where he's coming from. I don't think, I think that what you should also recognize, Armon, and just like kind of like respectfully and rationally understand is that maybe not every single time, right? But when there's even a time, then a time is an inclination, just like for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that many more times for Wiley to do you wrong. From this one time that we're going to find out about, you were done from there. And then as far as you're concerned, he just kept on performing actions that proved you right to be done from there. But see, in his situation, what about the fact that, with this whole with Jason Lee and you telling him not to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like that is like sunning him. That is like, you know what I'm saying? And you were guilty in that and you did admit to your guilt, but then you don't apologize either. So it's I think that you should, it's a shame that some people that people aren't able to put themselves in other people's shoes because you would benefit in life a lot more the more you're able to do that. And it's kind of like showing compassion.
Trying to do this. Oh yeah, he just talk about something. And I listen to him talk, but girl, I'm not paying attention to that. He give me all this advice, and I'm really listening because he's a narcissist. So I'm like, girl, then what am I gonna keep talking to her for? There's no reason to apologize to her. She feels the way about you. You have a grudge towards me. It doesn't matter if I gave you $1 million. You're gonna feel like I'm doing that to try to do something against you in a negative way. There's no pleasing you, and I've realized,
bro. And this is so sad. This is so sad. But look at Wiley. The way Wiley looks, it tells you everything about how he is perceiving this information, how he's receiving it. And I have to say, I feel like in my spirit, listening to Armon, he is very genuine. He's genuine in what he's saying. He honestly believes that this is what it is for Wiley and him, the situation. And I honestly, looking at Wiley, I feel like he is 100% right. And that, my friend, is sad.
you're so upset with me somewhere down the line where you think everything I do is to try to slight you or to count you or belittle you in some type of way. So at some point, I'm over trying to explain to you that I'm not doing that. So that's the thing with you. I'm just over it. And now when we get into the next person, one of my friends, There's no way in
Okay.
heck that I am going to be
So at this point in time, I'm gonna go ahead because it's gonna be too long of a video, and I'm not really concerned about OKP at all. At all. Anything to do with him. I don't need years to know someone. I don't need you can only literally you do me wrong one time. You show me who you are one time. That's all you need to do. And unless you're able to get like extreme plastic surgery and get a different vibe and aura to go along with that, then I ain't gonna give you like another time to like be weird to me.
not doing any of that. It got brought to the internet because people were letting people on their platform. They clearly were having.
So
You know what I'm saying? So at that, most people
right now we're gonna go ahead and probably cut this out. Probably gonna edit this out for you, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to the point where he's explaining the history of their relationship.
Let's do a collab and let's bring him on voice because this content is so. That's the principle I live by is that we need to even try to fake and have.
Okay, so now we're back at 2:13:15 in the 5 hour and 45-minute live. And I think I'm still not sure, but hopefully this is where Armon explains that history of the relationship and the actual problem.
It's not because I'm mad necessarily about what you've said in the past, or you doing content on me, or you trying to pit me against Jason Lee to try to piss me off, or that shit. That is not why. The issue is if we get on the phone privately, or if we have a meeting, or we decide that we're going to make peace, you have shown me time and time again that you are just appeasing me in your mind, and you believe that I'm trying to manipulate you in some sort of way. So whenever I try to make peace, somewhere while you act like you're listening, in your mind, you have written it off like, I'm playing the game with this motherfucker. He's a narcissist, and he's just trying to use me or control me. So at that point, I don't care what you say about me. It's just no point because, girl, you still feel some type of way. So until you are really ready to like, okay, let's move on. Whether you talk about you with her, it's still very much personal with you to me. So until you can just
understand that. So understand that. He said it's still very much personal. That's kind of what I don't get, though. I guess he really felt like Tasha K was like a legit working relationship, period. And she gets her for who he is. So listen, Wiley, because if he's telling you that it's personal, that means he cares, bro. That means he cares. And you're right, Wiley. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't get him to care about you the same way you care about him or whatever, and you don't get to redo your meeting with him and all these sort of things. You have to accept it for what it is. And yes, he does care about you, but because of the turn of events that have happened, he is, I believe, really afraid to open up to you. He can't trust that whole mental illness thing. He can't trust the way you embarrassed him. And it's just, we're going to hear all this.
If that was personal, if I want to go personal, why would I not work with that long?
Stop. You don't listen very well. He said, Armon said for him, it's personal. He didn't say that you went personal. You don't listen. You're not a very good listener, and you need to slow down with that. Listen and perceive what the person is saying verbatim. This is why I don't like when people try to use different words for different things. This means this means that means that. Supervisor means supervisor, boss means boss, manager means manager, and so motherfucking on. And I am my own boss again. Shout out to that motherfucking shit.
That hired a private investigator. If I want to go personal, like this is not personal. This is everything that I talk about is on YouTube. This is commentary. Nothing is personal. If it was personal, I would be pulling up, going to the juicy if it was personal.
No, it's not personal in that matter. I mean personal and feeling to where it's like, if I'm telling you, hey, we're good, this, that, you're not thinking, yeah, he's just saying that because he's trying to manipulate me. Because you still personally feel some type of way here. So it's one thing to like,
but you didn't keep, but you go back to recent, you didn't keep your word. That's what I'm saying. So that argument only work If you'd have kept
You're
it,
hung up on
you
this
talked about.
Jason Lee stuff.
So if you think that
But you're so hung up on this Jason Lee stuff. It's like, girl, okay, I talked
but
about
that's the most recent thing that happened.
But you're talking about keeping my word. Before that, before I even mentioned Jason Lee, you had took the whole conversation to members only and said I was a whole manipulator.
I told them, but then you proved my point.
You keep making this about Jason Lee.
But you proved my. But the point that you have to understand, you proved my point when you talked about the interview and told Cardi that she needed a brand new interview. But you told me on the phone that you're not going to talk about Jason Lee. Don't help him take over this sector. But the reason why I believe that it was a little piece of a manipulation, because correct me if I'm wrong, Jason went on your show and you brought him to this sector. Let's keep it all the way real. Because he came on your show, sent you super chats, and y'all had your whole conversation, and you fell out with Jason and posted personal information. But then you calling me after all of that and say, don't talk about Jason.
Okay, so basically in that moment, you get what he's saying. He's basically trying to stop him from doing something before he does it, is what that kind of looks like. You know what I mean? But it could have been an opportunity, Wiley, to see, to trust like your loyalty and things like that, and see if you're going to be able to follow his direction again and all this sort of thing. I don't know. It's not straightforward, and it's not the best practice at all. And yeah, and I just wish, along with this, Armon would have just actually apologized for it, because at some point, I don't know if I'm going to play it or not, but you can always go to the Wiley Show and check out this video. Armon Wiggins calls in to address Wiley and Tasha K exclusive. Foxy Brown about to expose Jay-Z, and Wiley that should have been without the D. And you have so many members, producers, and other people that help out the Wiley Show, and that you simply can't even help him to do things like this. So I'm not going to play all the rest of that whole Jason Lee thing. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is the fact that I want to get down into the meat and potatoes of the actual deterioration of the Armon and Wiley Show. That could have been like a whole spin off the Armon and Wiley Show. Oh my God. I hear that. I'm excited. Jam. I couldn't even get it out. I was like, jam it, man.
Yeah, conversation. I just want to nip it in the bud. Did
No.
she
So listen, so the difference is we had our conversation.
Okay.
Stop talking about him? No. Just like he ain't gonna stop talking about Tasha K.
Okay, so there's a point in time where Armon leaves the conversation. I'm not sure why, what happened, but when we get back, here it is. I think this is when we're gonna get down to it.
You could. We could move on from it. I wasn't fucking with you for that, but I was like, okay, girl, we can move on from it. Let go of the interview. Let go of the dragon. If I'm gonna let go of you talking about my family and all this shit, let it go. Or if you're not, then let's stop talking. That's all I'm saying. So I'm done with it.
Well, I have to say this, because everybody keeps saying make peace. I am already at peace. Me and Armon had an agreement. Oh, you can use.
We don't have no agreement.
We had an agreement.
You just make up these lies. We don't have.
You never said that there was an agreement that we had that you could use the content. You could talk about me on YouTube. You don't care. You didn't say that.
No, we don't have no agreement.
So that's not an agreement. But you didn't put that out there. That you talk about you on YouTube. You said ain't nobody gonna out talk Wiley about Armon because I am Wiley Nicki Minaj. So you didn't say that.
Yeah, but that's not an agreement.
Okay, then you pretty much know what I'm going to do. I talk about you. I just want to make that crystal clear. That I bring you up when you're not on the internet.
Please answer the question.
We don't talk about you, and we don't trash you in every single episode. We
don't give a fuck about that.
We
That's
talk
not
about
what
you
I'm talking about no more. I'm telling you, I don't care about what you talk about. What I care about is, are you going to get over it?
Again, I'm already over it. I talk about you when you hear the news. Nobody talk about no old interviews and no recent videos. Nobody talk about no old interviews and no recent interviews and nothing. We only bringing you up because you are in the news. That's it.
Did you hear anything that I just said?
You wouldn't have been brought out today.
Don't fucking listen.
You wouldn't have been brought out today if you didn't.
Oh my God, I'm going to jump off a bridge. Okay, I'm done. Love you. Have a good day. I can't do this no more. I'm like, talk to a fucking walk by.
Okay, because that's it. I just think we have to agree to disagree. And then they come to the Wiley show, they cuss. You can't cuss on his platform and do that. It's like the respect factor is not there. I get what y'all saying. Oh, Wiley, he's trying to make peace.
I totally agree that I agree with that. The respect factor is not there. He doesn't see you. He doesn't look at you as his equal. You're not on his level. And you have to accept that, not him. And that's just the way it is. It's not being on his side, it's not being on your side. It's just being even down, looking right straight down the line. It doesn't have to happen. That's just life. You have to understand that and you have to move on, Wiley. And I do understand that. I do understand that there's some relationships in life that we just want to redo and we just want to do better and want to show the person better and want to show them our best selves. But unfortunately, Wiley, you don't understand how much I really, really, really understand that, Wiley. You really don't know. I used to drink. I am a recovering alcoholic. And, for me, my whole thing is that I always wanted to be the best person I could be every single day. And when I became a mother, I wanted to be the best mother I could be. And now that I'm sober, I look back at the years that I was sober mother too. And I am deeply regretful and very sorry for that. I pray for forgiveness every single day. And my children tell me I'm a great mom, but again, as I operate in a sober mind and I'm able to be so effective in a sober mind, you can't help but to think what you could have done in the past with that same sober mind. And you can't get that time back. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And Armon, again, I understand you. I've been stalked. I am a person who values my privacy. I'm a person who has an energy where people, people are drawn to me. People want to open up to me. And I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. But unfortunately, in the beginning, I didn't know how to handle people. And people would take advantage of me. So then I just completely closed off and was like a real vicious, mean bitch whenever they tried to, and then I had to, you just evolve as a person sort of thing. I understand Armon, because he's a literal person and it means something when you say like, look, if I tell you this is the way it is and that's the way it is, that's not an agreement. Yeah, he's a literal person. Each word has its definition for a reason. Unless that word has unless that definition has multi words, then, outside of that, it's just not what the fuck I said. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get it from both of them, but I do want to move on to getting down to the history of the relationship.
Okay. My mind. Then my mother and sister came.
See, so he's talking about when he had the nervous breakdown sort of thing. And so what's important to note, because I'm like, I really need to find this. Okay, good. Armon calls back. So what's important to note is that
energy flows to where it.
When Wiley had that nervous breakdown, when Wiley was officially diagnosed, during the time that he was officially diagnosed, he'd actually had met Armon. Him and Armon had crossed paths through that unfortunate, tumultuous time. So I gotta get it back to where Armon called.
Three-way call? No, I can't do a three.
I hope I didn't miss it.
Fight me, people that have called me names. The issue that I have with Wiley is that when I try to make the peace with you, you never really truly make the peace. So this is not about people and content. This is not about you building your business. It's not about you talking about Jason Lee. It's not about none of that. It's about when I say, girl, we have the conversation privately. Hey, babe, we're going to make peace. So in the what's in your mind, you're thinking, oh, but I don't trust him. He's just trying to use me and control me. That is why, if you really want to know the truth, I said I don't want to do anything with you because at some point, I'm setting myself up for a ticking time bomb because you don't truly believe that when I say, hey, I'm coming in peace, that I'm really coming in peace. That's it. That's it. So there's nothing else I can do. It's not that I don't like you. I just gave up. That's it. Honestly, I can get over you talking about my mama, talking about my man, dragging me. Just like I can get over the nigga throwing a drink on me. I can get over it. But the thing is, bitch, when I say, let's move on, you don't ever want to move on. Deep down. And so then you bring me to that place where, okay, girl, well, I'm going to hold you to that standard because, bitch, you had more stake in my company than Tasha K or some of these other people because
Okay, this is it right here. I do believe this is where he's gonna go into the real nitty gritty of it. I hope so, because if not, then I'm just gonna explain it.
had a little bit more value in you, bitch, and you burnt me over and over and over and over, spit me out, ran me over again, and I'm.
Wow. So look, he said he had more value in him. He said he valued the Wiley show more than he valued Tasha K. Look at how this all turned out. Look at this, Wiley. This is why patience is a virtue.
Just not letting nobody close to me be able to do that again because I saw what that did. A lot of that I didn't like that. So a random person on the street, girl, say what you want about me. But a person that's in my bed, in my house, in my circle, you was getting online. Yeah, I know stories about him, and he would cry, and his daddy didn't want him there. His stepmom, he had to go sleep in a car. Like,
To be fair, this was all in response. This would always be in response to nasty things that you would say about him. And I mean, I don't, you're saying he started it first, so.
all that stuff is crazy. But you used that because you were I was vulnerable to you. I made you privy to certain information. And so you took that and you felt like you had a one up on your competitors that would do commentary on me. So then because everything is a content game for you, you started to try to air out personal shit that you may know that other people didn't know, all for your own selfish gain. So for me, we cool, we can move on from it. I wasn't fucking with you for that, but I was like, okay, girl, we can move on from it. But when I try to move on from it, if you don't let it go, because then your feelings are hurt from things I said about you, and you done said all these egregious things about me, girl, please. Girl, please. You're still mad at me over an interview or me telling you not to do this or me not telling you to do this and all the shit you said about me? How dare you sit up here and have your feelings be hurt and all the shit you talk? Like, come on. So either you're going to make peace or we not.
So I don't know if they're going to actually say this part. Well, they do say it in the interview, but I don't know if I'm at that point and I cannot make this video. So it's so long. It's so hard to edit long videos. Guys, I edit and I create. I do all this. I do everything myself. If you ever see anybody on this channel, they are simply a guest. No one's helped me to do any of this technical shit or learn anything about YouTube. Everyone that's been on my channel, I've actually given them tips about how to actually work like the YouTube parameters and things like that. So just so you know, and I am open for hire to help you with your channel for a very small cash appable fee. Yeah. All right. In any event, and edit. I can edit your videos for you. You know what I'm saying? In any event, so at this point in juncture, the interview that he's talking about is an interview that Armon did with Wiley's mom years ago. Now, even though Wiley may have given you permission to do it, I think Wiley probably felt like you may have had a personal civil responsibility not to do something like that if you actually cared about him, not to make his family the content. You know what I'm saying? Like, but here again is that level of where you feel like he's like beneath you. It's just kind of like this aura that is kind of like felt, kind of like seen and heard, you know. Definitely on Wiley's end, and so you got that right. Then you got that being at a time in his life where he hadn't been clinically diagnosed. So, and Wiley's gonna say that Wiley does say that in this live stream when he allowed the interview to happen, he actually wasn't in his right mind, even when he had started that relationship with Armand. So Wiley just really wants another chance.
And I'm just done with keep trying to go that rigmarole with you.
I have to say this because everybody keeps saying make peace. I am already at peace. Me and Armon had an agreement. Oh, you could use.
We don't have no agreement.
We had an agreement.
You just make up these lies. We don't have
You
no
never
agreement.
said that there was agreement that we had
So,
that you could
that,
use it for
um,
content. You could talk about me on YouTube. You don't care.
one more time to try and find that particular piece where they explain this whole thing.
I'm used to it at this point, but I need you to understand the reason why we don't. There's no need feeling for me to feel like reconciliation is, girl, you're not even listening for real, for real. This is all content for you, so you don't care. So I don't care.
Content, but that what Janai did, I want to see. I just don't. I don't get the logic because
I don't understand how you don't get it.
I don't.
It's sad. It's sad that you're not getting it because he's telling you in plain English that he cared about you. He had more stock in you than he did Tasha K. You know, you and him go way back. Like he's admitting to all the things that you wanted him to admit before. He's just not saying it in the chronological order that you need to hear it in order for it to process, and that's not his responsibility.
I don't think we're gonna agree with the perspective of it because it's a major mixed signal because people will say, did Wiley ever run up on you?
Again, we had a relationship. Okay. Now, King Pain.
It's right here. Finally. So there's a lot of editing I have to go through to get this part. My gosh. So finally, right here, he admits that they had a relationship just before I was going to stop it anyway, because Wiley is not listening. Wiley is not getting it. He's not getting it. He does not have to explain why he feels the way he feels about you, but he is about to. And Wiley, that's one of the first things he was denying. He said he didn't know you. And now he admits to having a relationship. That's really cool.
Hey, that was my friend. You were cool. We had a relationship. Again, so it's a different level because, girl, I talked to you. We had this whole, first of all, you were doing this stuff on Facebook. Right? I said, baby, let's not do this on
This
YouTube
is right here. This is the
because
one.
you won't admit it. You want this to be like, oh, we just mutually come into this stuff beefing. I tried to come into this space with you and say, let's not be. The minute you felt slighted or something didn't go your way because you didn't understand super chats, you didn't understand that, and you lied to me, or you were withholding information. While I said, hey, we're gonna go on this YouTube journey. You made it seem like you were all cool, but really you wanted money, and you were still mad at me for interviewing your mother. So the minute something you felt away, and you felt you had a little bit of something, you flipped on me and used it against me. And so at that point, I was done because you had already found your footing with people that hated Armon Wiggins. They were going to support your change.
And stop. Pause. And this is what Wiley wants you to understand. He wants you to understand that during this time, he was not in his right state of mind. He hadn't been officially diagnosed. He wasn't on his medication, his diet, everything, you know? So that's the reason for that. So he doesn't understand, why can you not forgive him for having a natural situation going on in the head? You know what I'm saying? And see past that, see his heart, to understand that he cares about you the same way you cared about him. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what Wiley is having a hard time with.
They were going to do all of that. So at that point, you had found what worked for you, and you were going to keep doing it because at the end of the day, it was for you. And you always said, well, he always said we could do a show together, but I always knew in the back of my mind, I didn't want to do a show with him, but I would tell him, yeah, we could do a girl, but I knew I was going to do my own thing. But that's that stuff that I don't like. Like, why would I be friends with a person that when they're talking to me, they're not being honest? So I'm saying this whole time, like, yeah, girl, we're going to do a show. We're going to do this. And you thinking, oh, this just want to be his sidekick and this, that, and the third. And it was like, girl, it was never about me being a sidekick. It was never about you being a sidekick. Excuse me. I never wanted you to be a sidekick. But in your mind, during that time, and I've heard you say this out of your mouth, you were just saying yes to appease me, but in your mind, you were like, bitch, please, I'm not doing that. So I didn't want to be friends with you because, girl, you're never keeping it real. You feel some type of way. But like, so don't make it seem like I'm just beefing with you out of nowhere when, girl, you've been feeling away for years.
I think, and then also too, like we going back the generations. I mean, almost 10 years.
And what Armon is not understanding or alluding to or admitting is that the reason why Wiley would say things like that is to save face, to save his feelings, to say, I already knew what you were going to do. You know what I mean? And it wound up biting him in the ass, because if any part of this is real or genuine, it's really, really sad. It's really sad. Because it's like, you know, I could totally see that being completely genuine and real, what you're saying, and as your perception. And who's going to say that how you're perceiving things is wrong? It's your perception. You know what I'm saying? That's just like somebody trying to tell me like, hey, how you fucking broke that down is fucking wrong. No, you don't have to watch, but you're definitely not going to tell me shit on my channel about my perception. You know what I'm saying? I'm a person in life, and I have a right to voice my opinion, and I have no choice but to perceive. So, yeah, it's unfortunate because it looks like that this could have been. So it's an ongoing saga. I'm really good at at spotting out the soap operas in life. So, this is one that as soon as when I came to the content creating space, I want to say it's weird because I wasn't in this little. So I was over there on the other channel doing stuff. And then I was just like, all I know is I found these people about 4 years ago. And I've been content creating for 2. So I found it just before I started doing the content creating thing. And they're like my soap opera, and I love them. Yeah.
Conversation. I should have been honest with you from the get-go. You know, I should have been honest with you. Wow, hold on. Are you taking accountability right now? I'm trying to say that.
Who the fuck do you think you are? This is your problem, Armon. Why is it okay for you to go ahead and put him on the spot like, wow, we're talking Carmen, now we're getting somewhere. Why are we getting somewhere now that he's taking accountability, but you didn't have the same integrity to take accountability with the Jason Lee thing? You just had a nerve to be like, all right, you got it. You got it. All right. Like, how is that okay? Like, that's not okay. That's not okay. That's not okay. But it just shows, see, that's not something that Wiley is doing to you, though. It's just that your interactions with Wiley really kind of bring out the real you in all facets, real quick. And I mean, it's a good, you know, it just depends on the eyes that are watching. And I think that's what you don't kind of like about the whole thing. Respectfully.
Take accountability on that. Because number one, we are in a totally different place because you are part of the beef with my family, again, in a mental hospital and all of that. I was going through some mental stuff. So it wasn't just internet stuff. But of course, you thought it was all political, and it was. I wish it was. But it was something I was going through turmoil. I was going through a family drama, and it was public, right? It was on Facebook. I brought it publicly or whatever the case would be. And then during that time, I was not diagnosed. So it took me time to work on it and get help. But I don't think you were able to receive that because, again, you wasn't used to a person with a mental illness. That's the piece that you wasn't getting. During that era of the family, I should have never called you to interview my family. And I don't blame you. I blame the hospital. Because they should have kept me in the hospital in Chicago, and I would have never
blame me because that's part of the reason why you're still mad today.
I think that's part of the reason why I was upset. First of all, embarrassed. And second of all, mostly embarrassed for you too, because you got involved into a situation. Number one, you was not qualified, equipped. You wasn't a therapist. We needed a crisis, man. I needed some psychiatric treatment. Then, because I was
unfair. The thing that's unfair is I can
see right now. Armon's not listening because you said, and you're still mad because of it. He said, I was hurt. I was mad. If you want him to listen to you and take what you're saying verbatim in its, current context and presence, then you have to show him the same respect, or you can't move on. It's not that you guys, so far from what I can see, it's not one of the reasons why you guys can't move on and an upward progression is because you refuse to respect him on a level that you have to respect people in order to grow with them. And that's just what you refuse to do. You just kind of refuse to give them that respect level anymore. Like it's really bad. If I were Wiley, I wouldn't keep trying.
You don't tell the story. Bitch, I didn't want to do that. You threatened me to do it.
Well, yeah,
Like,
I
that's
was
true.
mad. Yeah, I was mad at Armon. I don't remember that.
Whatever.
This was the fucking bombshell. What the fuck?
This week I closed $22,000 on the spot. I'm not making this up.
We gotta find that. That shit took me so far out. That shit took me so far out.
And I tried to.
You try to put these things into people's ears and have years with you and know you for them to do.
He said, "You threatened me to do it."
I tried to say this. I think because like the people think that we asked you to come on the show. No, you watched. I thank you for that, and I also thank you because people forget about this. Again, in a mental hospital and all of that, I was going through some mental stuff, so it wasn't just internet stuff. But of course, you thought it was awful.
There's the thing that's unfair is I didn't like. You don't tell the story, bitch. I didn't want to do that. You threatened me to do it.
That shit is crazy right there. And Wiley is a big man. And not only that, if he cares about him and he's like, he does care about him, and you're going to threaten him with what? The friendship. So that's even worse because that's like, man, this is bad. And if Armon was not aware of this man's mental state, how is he to know how to respond to any of this? And he could be so shook from it at this point that he just doesn't want anything to do with it. And that's respectable. He's a human being. He does have the right to feel how he feels and to interact with certain human beings and to not interact with certain human beings.
Well, yeah,
We all have that right.
Whatever that
that's
fine. But no, that's fine.
I was out of my. I said,
that's fine. That's fine.
I was out of my mind.
Armon, don't say that that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You don't allow, see, it's not fair that when it's okay, his words can validate you and your feelings and you can hold it out. Oh, I can't validate. But then when he's trying to express himself and share something that's like very crucial, a crucial component to the breakdown of the friendship, you're brushing it over like that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, as if it doesn't matter. But it does matter because he is better now. And I mean, I hate to say that like the way it sounds maybe, but he is, and he didn't even know he had a problem then. So it's just like, when are you going to give him any kind of applause or anything, like commending him for his growth or anything? It's so sad, Wiley.
But it was out of my mind. I was mad.
Yeah.
Right now, if I go back to what it was, I had a manic breakdown.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
and
that's fine during that time. But that still came back to bite me in the ass.
It did. And I was
listen. Because you had that revelation. You had that revelation a long time ago that, hey, you know what? I was out of my mind here. I could have gotten over that. But the thing is, all the time that you're dragging me and we're beefing, I'm trying to figure out what it is, and we try to make peace this year, next year. We cool for a minute, and it always goes back. It's because it's not necessarily something that's on YouTube. It's because you are still deeply upset about that time or embarrassed. And the thing is, the problem that I have now is once you recognize that, hey, okay, we all recognize the nigga was sick. He didn't know. I was young. I had shit going on. You were sick. We didn't know. We could have moved on from that. But no. You are still choosing to be mad at me for that when you know that none of us knew what the hell was going on at that time.
I think this is a very crucial component, but I think that you probably maybe need to accept the fact that he's not still mad at you for that. He's mad at you because for some reason, he feels like that you guys were supposed to come up together and you guys should be working alongside of each other. He wants to be a part of your world. And so that's where you guys keep going into this whole dog chasing its own tail thing, with that whole subject is a dog, like literally this whole enigma, your relationship is a dog chasing its tail because Armon is saying, I am not willing to redo anything. Like, I get it, but I'm just done. And Wiley, look at this something in you, right? I can tell a lot from looking in a person's eyes, right? Doesn't matter if they're cocked or whatever, because the fact that they're cocked means something too. But that doesn't sway anything in my intuition, right? And it's all in the way you sit. It's everything, Wiley. It's everything. there's an air of, so here's my issue with Wiley, and I've said it in the Time Troll Wiley videos. Wiley, you said some really egregious things, like Armon has said about a lot of these people. And then later on, you've sung their praises. So it concerns me as like a viewer, right? And as a person who looks on to, it's just kind of like, hey, I see you have these sheep, and I see one day, you lead them and you feed them so well and you're so nice. And then another day I see you lead them into like all of this like bad, like terrain and all this kind of thing. And you're just like so shitty toward them. And it's only when you see that the other sheep herders up the road do their sheep like that as well. So if you get any of that, my concern with you is, again, I feel like you'll lead some people to hell, depending upon who will allow you to sit at their table. It's just a matter of time. You've got to be more of integritous and have more of a mind of your own. And if you are better now and you are on medication, that has nothing, your mental situation that is now being treated has nothing to do with integrity.
But why are you holding that against me? But you knew you begged me to do it. You made me do it. You literally made me do it. And you know I only did it for you.
Exactly.
Because they were trashing you. I didn't do that because I needed something out of it. I did that for you. And for that to still, for you to still be holding on to that, like I did something to you, and everything I try to help you or use, like,
oh my God.
Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no helping you.
Yeah.
So
no, I get that, because that's really, really weird. It's really strange, and it's highly abusive, because that's like, I did what you told me to do in order to like, so we can be cooler and our relationship can be, so I can just even just appease you as a friend, and you hate me for it to this day. Like,
that could have been great, but when King did that Salacious series, that's when I held on to the grind. You think that I was like, but I know it came from you. When you start posting stuff, I said,
It cannot come from me.
Well, again, either King lied or you lied, but obviously had to get it for you because he was playing Facebook interviews. He was playing that stuff. Only you got access to those interviews.
I don't
Nobody else.
nobody's platform.
So you didn't send that to King, so King just did that all himself.
You think I sent him?
Because he said, King said out of his mouth, I didn't know anything about this, Wiley. Armon came to my job. He sent me stuff about his.
the way he said that, you think yeah, that honestly sounds like you did. It sounds like you did. And this is one thing you're gonna have to do too, Armon. When you're gonna want for people to take accountability, and you're gonna want to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you got balls, show them the whole time. Grab those motherfuckers the whole time. Ride this mother. You don't get on the roller coaster and you say, oh, hold up, wait a minute now. Psych. No, motherfucker. Let them swing. Let them, hey, look, check this out. Yeah, I did. Yeah. And I'm sorry about that. Like, you're gonna have to own up to it all, or it's always gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that sometimes people are in their own little world with things, and they don't understand that we are all watching, and we're all different, and we have different levels of thinking, understanding, knowledge, and some of us feel such a high amount of energy, even through devices, because if the eyes are the window to the soul, then that's just what it is. There's only a screen in front of it. And a lot of us, we can see straight through the filters, right? All right.
And that's what King said. So I was more so griped about that because y'all did a salacious sketch. And I said they because you co-signed it. You was on the show with him. I went back to King page for
First of all, I definitely.
So I had to, and this is why we found out his name was Michael. Because we have to send him a cease and desist because
oh my goodness.
Salacious.
No, that,
lies
at that
out
point,
of
but
this world.
at that point, I definitely co-signed it because girl was love.
All right. And so that is actually it for me. Again, I'm not interested in anything that has to do with the official King pain, or anything like that. And, they said it. So that was it. That was the real, like, that's the core root of their beef and their situation there. And, what I want to say, it's you are also doing the same thing to Armon, where you're saying like, oh, you're being cool with people who've done things to you, but then you said that you had to give the official King a cease and desist, and then you're turning around, you were talking to him and giving him channel tips and all of this stuff. Like, you were in his chat and all of this stuff. Like, that's crazy. I don't know. So it is a lot of the pot calling kettle black here on YouTube. And no, none of us are perfect. None of us are God. None of us are the judge. This is all our opinions, and I respect yours as long as it's respectfully. I want to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit the bell, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel.